It would seem Bulma has actually come quite a long way, not just as a scientist, mind you, but actually as a capable warrior. Hey guys, DB Rai here, and today I thought that we would continue with what if what if Bulma became a Z warrior part 2, and basically just seeing how it's pretty much the end of the year. I thought that we'd just continue with this all the way through till the new year starts. Just my little Christmas gift to you. A non-stop story that might even reach its conclusion, by the end of the year. We can only hope. And so, without further ado, let's get into this. Now, for those of you who came in late, who haven't seen part 1 yet, so basically we explored the possibilities of Bulma feeling more or less inspired by Yamcha and Goku's feats during the Pilaf Saga. And so that inspired her to travel to Roshi's island and receive training as well. Of course, if the old man kept his hands to himself, which Bulma made it very clear that if he tried anything, she would basically leave the island and never come back ever again. That was enough to keep Roshi in his place. So Roshi started treating Bulma more like a student than, well, you know what he does. Which is actually good because it actually means that Bulma and Roshi are starting to have a bit more of a healthier relationship in this story. It's, and certainly Roshi would prefer to have Bulma in his life than, not at all if he did something stupid. And well, as it turned out, it actually benefited Bulma greatly, who did quite well in the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai, ultimately losing to Jackie Chun in the semi-finals, but she did manage to fight her way through the preliminaries and actually beat her fellow student Krillin. And well, even though she was a bit disappointed she lost to Jackie Chun, especially taking advantage of a certain weakness she noticed early on, she was still grateful for the experience. And well, that pretty much left the rest of her story, sort of on hold, at least until we got to basically the second half of the Red Ribbon Army saga, when General Blue comes into the story, and she helps out Goku like she normally does, except this time being more disciplined and being a bit more tolerant of what her dad does and things like that. She was able to take her Dino Caps this time, and they were able to use her submarine, taking the Dragon Ball out from General Blue's nose, leading to an all-out fight on Roshi's island. And basically, thanks to Bulma's presence in helping Goku and everyone else fighting off the entire Blue company, it actually meant, because Bulma was with Goku, that Bora actually didn't die by Mercenary Tao, and that ultimately Bulma was there to help Goku, get rid of the rest of the Red Ribbon Army. And speaking of General Blue, because of him attacking Kame House on the island, Goku bossing him away for Kamehameha, not dead, he doesn't actually die in this point of the story. Mercenary Tao didn't take him out. In fact, now that we're continuing the story, what is General Blue up to? He's just now finished hobbling his way back to Red Ribbon headquarters, unaware that Goku and Bulma have completely decimated the place. What? What on earth happened here? Don't tell me it was that wretched kid again! And well, he gets confirmation when he gets some of the monitors working and looking at some of the footage of what had happened, that Bulma and Goku just beat the entire army. This is impossible. We really didn't stand a chance, did we? But Don't you worry, my fallen brethren. I will avenge the Red Ribbon Army and start it anew. And well, this is where General Blue is approached by two individuals. One of them, significantly taller and more bulky looking than the other. The shorter one seeming to be like a frail old man. The other guy had like a sort of red mohawk sort of haircut. Oh, what? Is that you, Doctor? Yes. And I wouldn't bother about revenge or rebuilding this ridiculous army. However, I do want revenge on the brat wrecking my inventions. How would you like to assist me in that endeavor? I am sure you've met my son, General Gold, referring to the big dude, and possibly the man who would become Android 16. And basically, General Blue basically agrees it's in his best interest to go with the Doctor and Gold at this point. Since they have a common enemy and all, it just makes sense. And where will this lead in the future? Who knows? Is it possible that General Blue will become one of these evil androids once we get into Z? Who knows? I haven't thought that far ahead yet. Alright, so, continuing on with the story, our gang have now approached Roshi's sister, fortune teller Baba, in hoping she would reveal the final Dragon Ball for him. And you may think because Bulma's rich, she'd just pay Baba the Zenny, but no, not after Baba's sort of rude comments and given her sort of history with Roshi. Even though it's a little bit better now than what it is in this timeline, it's yeah, she's not giving that old bat one single cent. And well? Oh, very well then. You shall face my 5 warriors. And that whole thing begins to play out. Much like it does in the original. And the difference is, Roshi does actually tag along this time, just to keep an eye on his pupils. And you already got Bulma there, so basically the beginning fights basically start as the same, with Krillin losing to the vampire, leaving basically Yamcha to have to deal with the vampire. Remember, there's no Upa in this part of the story because Bora isn't dead, so there was no point really in having Poir in there trying to fight the vampire alone, so Yamcha just basically stepped in and did it, and actually got a ring out pretty quickly. However, Yamcha was struggling dealing with the invisible fighter, and, well, Krillin did have a plan. He was, tempted to do the same plan that he does in the original story. After all, Roshi and Bulma are there, but then, well, he kind of likes Bulma and doesn't want to get on her bad side. After all, he's kind of seen what she's like when she's angry, so yeah, probably not a good idea. So he has Poir change into a bucket of paint and, well, basically throws that onto the Invisible Man, and basically Yamcha's able to get the knockout. Oh, so that's how you're gonna play this, are you? Very well then. Step inside. We're gonna need a change of scenery for this fight. Yes, but Barber's being a bit of a good sport here. Even though I guess you could say Krillin throwing a bucket of paint on the invisible guy is technically cheating, but very well, you know, if his warrior was careless enough to be hit by a bucket of paint, then clearly he shouldn't have even been in the ring in the first place. And, well, much like in the original, she does check out Goku, being curious about the young warrior. And, well, we get into the fight with Yamcha bandages, which plays out exactly the same way. However, it's not Goku that jumps in and rescues Yamcha this time, when Yamcha's about to fall into the pit and, die. It's actually Bulma that jumps in, managing to grab her boyfriend and rescuing him. You sit this one out. This one's mine. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is Bulma actually more powerful than Yamcha? Well, yeah. She actually is more powerful than Yamcha and Krillin at this point in the story. Remember, she received Korin's training with Goku in the previous part. And that has definitely boosted up her stats, so what, as a warrior. And, well, her match with, bandages, it's a pretty close one. Like, it's, definitely not as one-sided as when Goku faced bandages. It's, a bit more even, but in the end, Bulma's able to pull it off, knocking bandages out, and, just sort of standing there in a sort of victory pose. She's feeling very proud. And, of course, happy that she got that win over the guy who dare best her lover. And, well, this is where we get, basically, the Devil Might guy, battling with Bulma, and, it pretty much turned out exactly like how it went with Goku. He's not that strong, per se, but he's got that dangerous Devil Might beam. And you might be thinking, oh no, DB Rye, don't kill off Bulma. It's okay, guys, it's okay. Remember, Bulma has learned quite a bit of humility under the tutelage of Master Roshi, as well as her travels with Goku. So, the Devil Might beam actually has no effect on her whatsoever. She has learnt enough to pass that little test. And, well, with a nasty flying kick, Devil Might guy is bouncing into the ceiling and eliminated from the match. And, well, now we get to the final fight back on the outside venue where no one is going to die against the mysterious fifth fighter. Of course, we know this to be Grandpa Gohan, and, well, he's not fighting Goku off the bat. First, he's got to contend with Bulma, which, unfortunately for Bulma, this is where her luck pretty much runs out pretty quickly. Grandpa Gohan, not wasting much energy and time on Bulma, pretty much beats her swiftly. And she's basically sent out of the ring, and now Goku is getting the match with his deceased grandpa, and that pretty much plays out exactly like it does in the original, with Grandpa Gohan giving up, and basically, revealing who he is. Goku and Grandpa Gohan have that nice heart-to-heart reunion, which is just beautiful. One of the beautiful moments of Dragon Ball. One of the moments where you see Goku just absolutely happy. Anyway, so with that, and with Grandpa Gohan ultimately saying goodbyes to his grandson, that he's perfectly fine in Otherworld, and, well, as promised, Fortune Teller Baba reveals the location of the final Dragon Ball, which of course is being held by the Pilaf gang. And, well, I think you know what happens next. Goku, along with Bulma, pretty much makes short work of them. Like, even more easily than Goku did in the original. Well, he doesn't lose his, gi again. He doesn't get his gi burnt off like in the original. And, with the final Dragon Ball secured, they basically summon up Shenron and basically ask the dragon to, undo any damage and basically make everything the way it was before the Red Ribbon Army commenced its operation. So that would mean everything being restored, anyone they killed being brought back to life, all of that. Everything back to the way it was. undoing everything that evil crime organization did. And so, basically with that, we now head towards the 3 years where Goku and essentially, well, not just Goku in this timeline, but everybody is actually having to go their separate ways and train on their own for the next 3 years with the Tenkaichi Budokai. Now, this, of course, there's no using the flying Nimbus. You've got to use your own strength to get around the world. Oh, you're only allowed, and Roshi does make his instructions a little bit more clearer this time around. However, you may use the cloud when coming to the tournament the day before. So the day before, the ban on the flying Nimbus would be lifted, and, Goku and Bulma could use it to get to the tournament. Not that they're going to be training together, mind you, for the 3 years. They're all going their separate ways. But remember, Bulma is capable of calling the Nimbus herself as well. I guess one of them just better hope the other one's not using it at the time. So, or anyway, I suppose it might work like a shared Uber. Like if Goku's already on it, and then Bulma calls for the Nimbus, it'll go to her, and Goku's already on the cloud. We could have that, why not? Anyways, we're not up to that yet. So, we now head into basically the 3 year time skip while everyone's out training on their own. Because Yamcha was a student of Roshi, from the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai Saga, he would have the same instruction. And ultimately, this time, Krillin is more or less forced to do the same thing. And, well, Bulma is actually coping with this quite well, because after all, she had all that downtime with Goku camping out with him, so she knows what it takes to actually survive out there. And Yamcha being a desert bandit, it's nothing new to him, and he's got Pua keeping him company as well. And well, as for Krillin, if anyone's struggling with this training, it is Krillin. But alas, Krillin is doing fine, and actually Krillin does end up meeting up with Goku about halfway through their training. They did go their separate ways, but somehow Krillin ended up finding him. So, why not continue the training together? And that is exactly what they did. Unfortunately, Krillin, you'll have to take a plane to the Tenkaichi Budokai, because Krillin can't ride the cloud. Oh, that is so not fair. So the day comes that the Tenkaichi Budokai is going to happen, and as I said, Goku did indeed get himself on the cloud first, and then Bulma called it, and Goku wondering why the cloud's going the other way. Nimbus, I said we're going this way. We might be late for the tournament. And, well, Goku did sort of click that, maybe this is going to Bulma. Oh, cool, we can travel together. And so, with Bulma and Goku arriving, pretty much being the first ones there in this point in time, they do manage to sign themselves up for the world tournament, and Yamcha and Krillin, arrive about an hour later, and needless to say, they're signed up too. And of course, Jackie Chun has gone ahead and signed himself in, and of course, they see a couple of another friend couple of friends who were sort of waiting there at the tournament. People who travelled with Roshi. Oolong and Launch, of course. And don't forget, Pua was with Yamcha the whole time. So, well, Roshi can definitely sense there's definitely quite a bit of a power difference within his pupils. Some of which are stronger than what they were in this certain point in the original. So, how is the second Tenkaichi Budokai going to go down? Well, we're about to find out right now. So, with the preliminaries pretty much gone and out the way, with Bulma pretty much beating Palmput out of his spot, so she'd be going up against Goku in the first match, and you pretty much got Yamcha against Tien Shinhan, much like in the original. Pretty much the other matches are pretty much set like in the original. Jackie Chan against Man Wolf, who's not particularly happy that Jackie Chan went and bought the moon, and of course Krillin against Chaozu. And I believe that's all the pupils. I don't think I'm missing anybody. Yamcha, Krillin, Bulma, Goku. Yep, we're all present and accounted for. So the match between Tien Shinhan and Yamcha does pretty much play out the same. The only real difference is that Yamcha's strong enough that he actually does prevent himself from getting injured. Tien Shinhan is actually forced just to kick him out of the ring. Yamcha was strong enough to stay in it that he didn't let himself get his leg broken like in the original. So the good news is that Yamcha comes out of this pretty much okay, but he is warning everyone else that this Tien Shinhan guy, he is ruthless. So be careful when you go up against him. And Jackie Chan vs. Man Wolf ends exactly the same way that does in the original, with Jackie Chan getting the win and using our Moon Boy Krillin to restore Man Wolf. Which, very nice of him. After all, he did kind of inconvenience everyone destroying the moon. But hey, at least Goku won't transform into a rampaging ape and eat anybody, am I right? Hey? Come on. Alright, so then we get a matchup between Bulma and Goku, and it is a fierce one. It's a spectacle. It's, with, Bulma pretty much being the second strongest there, although we're not entirely sure about Krillin yet. Yeah, Krillin's match with Chaozu played out the same, as it does. But we are talking Bulma and Goku. They spent all that time together with the whole Red Ribbon Army mess. Essentially, for the most part of the battle was between the two is actually quite even, and Goku getting the surprise of his life where Bulma throws a Kamehameha at him. A Kamehameha that's finally as powerful as his, and Goku having to answer back with his own, and we get a beam struggle between the two. And, well, ultimately, the beams cancel each other out, and, well, Goku is basically having to use the trick he uses to beat Krillin in the original in order to get Bulma out. You know, where he's moving so fast, where he disappears. Then there's the 3-punch assault and 2 and 4-kick assault. Yeah, that trick. Ultimately, Bulma is beaten, and Tien Shinhan is quite surprised of the skills of young Goku. And then we move on to the semi-finals with Jackie Chan battling with Tien Shinhan, which ultimately plays out the same way, with Jackie Chan ultimately giving up, but not before he has his words with the young man about him serving his false master, and that this is not the path that he initially set himself upon. And basically, yes, that does begin to get through to Tien, much like it does in the original. And well, we then move on to Krillin versus Goku, and the fight pretty much plays out a lot like it does in the original, except Krillin was able to avoid the whole final trick. Goku did try to use the trick he used on Bulma to beat him, but Krillin saw it coming, having witnessed that fight. Now, are you thinking that Krillin won the match? No. Goku still managed to pull it out of the hat, being only just. it was, well, actually, he was quite lucky. Goku was basically on the verge of losing, almost out of the ring, where, Krillin threw a bit of a reckless move, and Goku was able to get out of the way, and it ended up with Krillin falling out of the ring instead. And basically, we get to the final match, Tien versus Goku, and that pretty much plays out exactly the same it does in the original story, with their match being equal, being quite equal, with Chaozu paralyzing Goku and Tien finally realizing the error of his ways. Chaozu, I didn't say help me. I want a fair fight. Forget your fair fight, finish this whelp off. You have to avenge Tao, my brother. And of course, Tien Shinhan decides no, he doesn't want to be a killer. He doesn't want to follow in the steps of Tao. And that his master's teachings are wrong. And well, with Master Shen threatening to kill them both, Roshi, sends him via a one-way trip through Kamehameha Airlines, if you know what I mean. Now that that's taken care of, get back to the match! And well, the rest of the match plays out like it does in the original, with Tien Shinhan ultimately getting the win, only because, Goku was hit by that truck on the way out of the ring that made him hit the ground that split second before Tien. And, well, much like in the original, Tien decides to treat everybody to dinner, celebrating his victory, and of course, their now friendship. And he does look to Yamcha and basically apologize, because he was pretty rough in the ring, even though Yamcha didn't get injured at this point in the story. You can still clearly see the bruises on Yamcha. Hey, no hard feelings, man. I'm just glad you finally seen the light, bro. So, with that, with Tien Shinhan's victory and shouting everyone to a meal, celebrating his victory and their new friendship, Bulma and Krillin actually volunteer to go back and pick up Goku's Dragon Ball and Power Pole. And, well, after a little while, it became noticeable that Krillin and Bulma have sort of been gone a little bit too long. So Goku, not touching his meal, goes back and heads towards the arena, where, if you're thinking he's going to find Krillin and Bulma dead, actually no. They're A-OK, but they do find this green monster-looking thing dead. Yes, because Bulma went with Krillin, they were both easily able to take out Tambourine. Remember, Krillin is a bit stronger than what he is at this point in the original timeline. He might have been able to hold off Tambourine long enough for Goku to arrive in this story, after all being well rested and having a bit more stamina. But with Bulma there as well, yeah, Tambourine did not have a chance against the two of them. And, yeah, basically, the referee fills him in that, oh, this Tambourine creature wanted this strange ball-looking thing. That's my Dragon Ball, Goku pipes up. And, said he wanted a list from the, Martial Arts Society. All the, recent participants in the, latest 2 or 3 tournaments, or whatever it was he took in the original. However, Tambourine has left the world empty-handed. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you guys think? Did you enjoy this story? How is Bulma going to make more of a difference in the Piccolo Saga? Krillin being alive is a big one. And, yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys again tomorrow for part 3. See you then.